Moments in life when the pain we feel does not come from the challenges of the world, but from the people we once trusted. It is not easy to carry such a weight. It cuts deeper than most wounds because it touches the heart. And yet, even here, in this space of pain, there is a choice. Not the choice of what someone has done to you, but the choice of how you will stand in front of it. When a man hurts you, the first reaction is often to fight against it or to fall into silence and blame yourself. But both of these responses take away your strength. What matters is not to carry his actions inside you as your own reflection. If someone throws dirt at you, the dirt belongs to him. If someone carries anger or disrespect, it is his storm, not your essence. Do not let what he does become who you are. In moments of hurt, remember that you are not powerless. You have the ability to respond without becoming a mirror of his behavior. The one who hurt you might expect your reaction to feed his control, but you can choose differently. Stay calm, stay grounded, and remain in the clarity of your own dignity. This does not mean you accept what is wrong. It means you no longer allow his actions to write the story of your life. The world teaches that strength is about fighting back with the same energy that comes to you. But true strength is to rise above it. When he speaks words meant to break you, your silence can be louder than his voice. When he acts to pull you down, your decision to stand taller becomes the response. Every time you refuse to be pulled into his darkness, you take away his power over you. Do not carry hate, for hate will live in your chest like fire and burn you longer than it burns him. Do not carry fear, for fear will make you smaller than you truly are. Carry wisdom instead. Wisdom tells you when to walk away, when to create distance, and when to protect your peace. Sometimes the most powerful step is not confrontation, but separation. ChatGPT said, when someone hurts you, the immediate instinct is often to turn inward and begin questioning yourself. You ask why it happened, what you did wrong, or if you were not enough. This inner dialogue can quickly become a prison, where his actions start to live inside your mind and heart. But the truth is, when a man chooses to hurt you, his decision speaks about him, not about your value. Protecting your inner peace means refusing to let his behavior become the mirror through which you see yourself. His words, his actions, his choices, they belong to him. Your worth remains untouched, like a flame that cannot be blown out no matter how hard the wind may try. Peace is not something that falls from the sky. It is something you choose to hold on to, even when someone tries to disturb it. When he throws his anger at you, you do not have to receive it. When he tries to break your confidence, you do not have to believe it. Think of it like a gift someone is trying to hand you. If you do not take it, it stays in their hands. In the same way, when he tries to hand you pain, you can choose not to let it settle within you. This is not about ignoring reality. It is about controlling the only thing you truly have power over, your inner world. Protecting your peace also means stepping back from his storm. If you stay too close to someone who is burning with anger, you will get burned. If you continue standing in the rain of disrespect, you will stay wet. But when you step back, when you create distance, you give yourself space to breathe. That space is where you remember your value. That space is where you remind yourself that you are more than his treatment of you. There will be people who believe strength means to fight back, to scream louder, to match his energy. But often, strength is found in refusing to lower yourself to that level. Protecting your peace is not about being silent forever, but about knowing when your energy is too valuable to waste. You do not need to prove your worth to someone who refuses to see it. You do not need to argue with someone committed to misunderstanding you. Every time you choose not to react with the same negativity, you win a battle inside yourself. That victory is far greater than any victory over him. It is also important to recognize that protecting your peace is not weakness. Walking away does not mean you are afraid. Remaining calm does not mean you are powerless. On the contrary, it shows the depth of your strength. Anyone can explode when provoked, but it takes true courage to hold yourself steady and not allow the storm to shake you. Imagine the mountain. The wind may blow, the rain may fall, but the mountain remains unmoved. Let your spirit become like that mountain, firm, unshaken, and at peace within itself. Sometimes protecting your peace requires making hard decisions. It may mean creating distance from someone you once trusted. It may mean choosing solitude over chaos. It may mean leaving a space where your heart is not respected. These choices are never easy. But every step you take toward protecting your peace is also a step toward protecting your future. A man who hurts you can never be the foundation of your happiness. Only you can build that foundation. And you build it by refusing to hand over your inner calm to someone else's actions. Remember that you are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become despite what happened. His hurt does not define your beauty, your strength, or your destiny. The pain may be real, but it is temporary. Your inner worth is eternal. Protecting your peace is the way you ensure that no wound stays open longer than it should. You heal by reminding yourself that nothing and no one can take away what is inside you unless you give them the permission to do so. In the end, handling a man who hurts you is less about him and more about you. It is about keeping your inner flame alive, holding your dignity high, and never letting his actions silence your spirit. When you protect your inner peace, you protect the very essence of who you are, and that is something no one can take away. ChatGPT said when someone hurts you, the natural impulse is to let emotions take control. Anger rises quickly, fear creeps in silently, and before you know it, you feel consumed by the storm inside. But in such moments, what truly protects you is the ability to respond with clarity and dignity rather than with the weight of uncontrolled emotions. This is not about suppressing what you feel. It is about recognizing that emotions are energy, and when misused, they can turn against you. Responding with clarity means you pause, you breathe, and you remind yourself that not every action deserves a reaction. Responding with dignity means that even if someone has chosen to lower themselves by hurting you, you choose not to follow them down that path. When anger takes the lead, it clouds judgment. You may say words you later regret, or you may act in ways that do not reflect who you are. And when fear takes control, it can trap you in silence, making you believe that you are too weak to stand up for yourself. Both anger and fear keep you bound, tied to the actions of the one who hurt you. But clarity cuts through both. It allows you to see the situation as it is, without losing yourself in the fire of emotions. You can acknowledge the pain without drowning in it, and you can see the man's behavior for what it is, his choice, not a reflection of your value. Responding with clarity also means you step outside of the immediate sting and ask yourself, what will serve me in the long run? What response will protect my peace rather than deepen my pain? In many cases, anger only fuels conflict, and fear only deepens his control. But dignity carried in your voice, in your posture, and in your decisions speaks louder than either. Dignity is not about silence that hides your truth. It is about expressing your truth in a way that is unshakable, calm, and confident. When you speak from dignity, you do not shout, you do not beg, you do not lower yourself. You stand steady, and in that steadiness lies your power. There is also great strength in knowing when not to engage. Not every fight deserves your energy. If someone is determined to bring you down, no amount of arguing will raise them up. Clarity shows you the difference between a conversation that can bring understanding and a fight that will only bring exhaustion. Dignity allows you to walk away from the latter without feeling defeated. In fact, walking away in such moments is not weakness. It is wisdom. You are choosing yourself over chaos. At times, responding with clarity and dignity will surprise the one who tried to hurt you. They expect your anger, they expect your fear, they expect to see you broken. But when they see you standing calm, when they see you refusing to lose yourself, it unsettles them. They realize that no matter what they do, they cannot control your spirit. This is not about revenge or victory over him. This is about proving to yourself that you hold the power to rise above. And let us be honest. There will be moments when the pain feels overwhelming and the urge to react is strong. You may want to shout back. You may want to show him the same hurt he has given you. But in those moments, ask yourself, does this reaction reflect who I want to be? Or does it make me more like the one who hurt me? Most of the time, you will find that your highest self is calling you to stay composed, to choose words carefully, to move with intention, and to act in a way that honors your own heart. That is clarity. That is dignity. By choosing clarity over confusion, you see his actions for what they are, his burden, not yours. By choosing dignity over anger or fear, you remind yourself that you are more than what was done to you. The way you respond determines whether you stay trapped in his storm or walk out into your own sunlight. The response you choose is the difference between carrying his hurt as your own or leaving it where it belongs, with him. So when a man hurts you, remember this: you cannot always control what someone does to you, but you can always control how you respond. And when you choose clarity and dignity over anger and fear, you not only protect yourself in that moment, you also shape the path forward. That path leads to freedom, peace, and the unshakable knowledge that you are stronger than any attempt to break you. ChatGPT said, "There is a common belief that strength is always about speaking louder, reacting faster, or proving yourself through confrontation. But sometimes the deepest strength is found in silence. When a man tries to hurt you with words or actions, he expects a reaction. He expects your voice to rise, your emotions to overflow, your control to vanish. His goal is often to pull you into the chaos he carries within himself. And when you do not give him that reaction, when you remain still and silent, your presence becomes louder than any noise he could create. Silence in such moments is not weakness. It is mastery over yourself. Silence is powerful because it denies him the satisfaction of seeing you break. It tells him without words that you are not controlled by his behavior. Silence does not mean you are ignoring what happened. It does not mean you are accepting what is wrong. It simply means you are choosing to answer with wisdom rather than with impulse. Words spoken in pain can cut deeper than the wound itself, and often they leave scars that stay far longer than the conflict. By choosing silence in the moment, you give yourself time to breathe, to observe, and to decide how to respond with clarity instead of regret. In silence, you also protect your dignity. Imagine two people standing in front of one another. One is shouting, angry, losing control. The other stands calm, quiet, unshaken. Who looks stronger? Who holds the real power? The one who cannot control his tongue shows his weakness openly, while the one who chooses silence demonstrates discipline and self-respect. Silence in this way becomes a shield. It does not erase what was done to you, but it prevents the hurt from taking away your peace in that moment. There will always be the temptation to respond quickly. The mind wants to defend, the heart wants to be heard. But if you pour your energy into shouting against a closed door, it will never open. Silence reminds you that not every door deserves to be knocked on. Not every voice deserves your answer. Silence protects you from wasting yourself in places where your words will only fall on deaf ears. But silence is not just about absence of words. It is also about the presence of awareness. In silence, you learn to watch more closely. You see the truth of his behavior without being blinded by your emotions. You hear what is not being said, the emptiness behind the hurt. And in that space, You begin to understand that the pain he tries to throw at you is not born from your weakness, but from his own unresolved battles. Silence becomes the bridge between pain and wisdom. Still, silence does not mean you must remain forever quiet. It simply means that you choose the right time and the right way to respond. Silence gives you back control over when and how you will speak. Instead of being dragged into his timing, you move on your own terms. And when you finally do choose to speak, your words carry more weight because they come from calmness, not from chaos. They are like a steady river, not a storm. And words spoken from that place cannot be easily dismissed because they are rooted in strength. Silence also teaches him something he may not expect. When his words do not shake you, when his actions do not spark a reaction, he learns that he cannot touch your core. You become untouchable in spirit. That realization can be more unsettling to him than any argument you could give. Silence strips him of the power he thought he held, because true power lies not in forcing others to react, but in remaining unmoved by what they do. You may wonder if silence is always the answer, and the truth is no. But silence as a first step, silence as a pause, silence as a shield. This can save you from much pain. It buys you time. It allows you to protect your inner peace while you decide the next step. Sometimes that step may be distance, sometimes it may be leaving, and sometimes it may be a calm but firm response. But silence ensures that whatever you choose from strength, not from weakness. So when a man tries to hurt you with his words, with his actions, remember this: you do not always need to fight noise with noise. Sometimes the greatest answer is no answer at all. Sometimes the sound of your silence speaks more loudly than any voice could ever do. And in that silence, you protect your dignity, your clarity, and your peace. ChatGPT said, "There comes a time when silence alone is not enough. When clarity and dignity have guided you to see the truth, and the next step is to create distance." Distance is not running away. Distance is not fear. Distance is protection. When a man continues to hurt you, when his words or actions poison the space around you, the most powerful choice you can make is to step back and remove yourself from the reach of his behavior. It is not about punishing him. It is about honoring yourself. Distance gives you room to breathe. When you remain too close to someone who carries anger, disrespect, or manipulation, you begin to absorb it even if you try not to. Just as you cannot stand in smoke without smelling like it, you cannot stay near constant hurt without feeling it. Creating distance is how you protect your strength, your clarity, and your peace. It is the act of saying to yourself, "I deserve to live without this storm pressing against me." Some may believe that staying close is a sign of endurance, that holding on shows courage. But endurance without boundaries is self-destruction. Real courage is not in how much pain you can take. Real courage is in recognizing when to step back, when to close the door, when to say enough. You do not owe endless access to anyone who harms you. Your space, your time, your presence. These are treasures. You decide who is worthy of them. Distance also brings perspective. When you are too close to the hurt, everything feels overwhelming. Your thoughts spin, your emotions are heavy, and you lose sight of yourself. But when you take a step back, you begin to see things more clearly. You recognize patterns, you understand his behavior more objectively, and most importantly, you remember that his actions are his, not yours. Distance gives you the clarity that is hard to find when you are standing in the middle of the fire. It is also important to understand that distance does not always mean physical space, though often it does. Distance can also be emotional. It can mean refusing to invest your energy in arguments that lead nowhere. It can mean detaching your self-worth from his treatment of you. It can mean learning to care less about his approval and more about your own peace. Emotional distance is powerful because it teaches you that you do not have to carry every word spoken to you, nor do you have to feel every cut as deeply as it was intended. You can choose to step back inside yourself and protect your heart. Creating distance may feel difficult at first. The heart is not quick to let go, and the mind will sometimes whisper fears. What if I am alone? What if I am weak? What if I cannot move on? But the truth is that distance makes you stronger. It opens the door for healing, for rediscovering yourself, for reconnecting with your own light. It reminds you that your worth is not tied to anyone else's actions. You are complete in yourself. And sometimes you only realize this when you step away from the noise that tried to convince you otherwise. Distance also sends a silent message. It says, without words, that you will not remain where you are not respected. It shows that your boundaries are not just thoughts but actions. A man who hurts you may dismiss your words, but he cannot dismiss your absence. When you remove yourself, when you take back your time, when you choose to step away, it speaks louder than any argument ever could. You may still feel the ache of separation, the weight of change, but do not mistake this for weakness. Growth always comes with discomfort. The flower must push through the soil before it sees the light. In the same way, your choice to create distance is the push that allows you to rise again. It is not the end of your strength. It is the beginning of reclaiming it. So when a man continues to hurt you, do not remain in the space where his actions strip away your peace. Step back, create distance, protect yourself. For distance is not about losing someone else. It is about finding yourself again, whole and unbroken. And that is the strength that carries you forward. When you face the pain of being hurt, the mind often begins to search for reasons. You may start asking, why did he do this? What did I do wrong? Or what is missing in me? This is the trap of self-blame, and it can be more damaging than the hurt itself. But the truth is that his behavior reflects him, not you. A man's decision to hurt is not a mirror of your worth. It is a reflection of his own wounds, his insecurities, his inability to handle himself with maturity and respect. When you understand this, you begin to separate yourself from the shadow of his actions. The human heart naturally wants answers, but not all answers will be found in the place you search. Often, when someone treats you badly, it is not because you are undeserving of love, but because he is carrying pain he has never faced. He projects his struggles onto you, not because you are weak, but because he cannot manage the storm inside him. His anger, his cruelty, his disregard, these are signs of his brokenness. They do not belong to you. They are not a reflection of your beauty, your value, or your spirit. They are only his. When you internalize the behavior of someone who hurts you, you allow their darkness to take root in your own heart. You begin to question your worth through his eyes. But this is a dangerous illusion. His actions cannot measure your value. Your worth does not rise and fall with the way he chooses to treat you. The sun does not lose its light because someone closed their curtains. In the same way, your spirit does not lose its brightness because someone failed to see it. Understanding that his behavior reflects him frees you from the weight of unnecessary guilt. It helps you stand taller in the face of disrespect. Instead of asking, what is wrong with me? You begin to see that the better question is, what is unhealed in him? This shift changes everything. It no longer makes his treatment of you a statement about your identity. It reveals it as a statement about his own struggles. And once you see this truth, you stop carrying his burdens as if they were your own. This realization also empowers you to set boundaries with confidence. When you know his behavior reflects him, you stop excusing it as something you caused. You stop believing that if you were better, kinder, quieter, more patient, then he would change. The responsibility of his actions rests with him, not you. And that understanding allows you to step away with dignity instead of staying trapped in the cycle of blame. It is also important to recognize that sometimes hurtful behavior comes from patterns that he himself may not even fully understand. But whether or not he realizes it, whether or not he is aware, does not change the impact on you. You are not called to fix him, heal him, or carry his weight. That is his journey. Your journey is to protect your peace and continue shining in your own light. To handle a man who hurts you is to remember that what he does is his story, and how you respond is yours. And while this understanding brings clarity, it also brings freedom. You are no longer tied to the need to prove yourself to him. You are no longer waiting for him to validate what you already know within yourself. His failure to see your worth does not mean it does not exist. Your worth is constant, untouchable, beyond the reach of his choices. So, when a man hurts you, remind yourself of this simple truth: his actions reveal his character, not yours. Do not let his behavior become the mirror you look into. Instead, hold on to the mirror of your own heart, the mirror that reflects your strength, your beauty, your dignity. Because the hurt he gives belongs to him, but the peace you choose belongs to you. Pain has a way of shaping us. When someone hurts you, it can either leave you broken, or it can become the very force that makes you wiser, stronger, and more aware of your own strength. The choice lies in what you do with the pain. If you hold on to it with anger, it becomes heavy and keeps you stuck. If you hold on to it with fear, it shrinks your life and stops you from moving forward. But if you choose to transform it into wisdom, it becomes a teacher that guides you toward better decisions, deeper strength, and greater peace. Every wound carries a lesson. It may not be clear in the moment, but with time, you begin to see what it was trying to teach you. The man who hurt you shows you not only who he is, but also what you must protect yourself from in the future. His actions reveal the importance of boundaries, the necessity of self-respect, and the strength of choosing yourself first. When you learn from pain, it loses its ability to control you. It no longer defines you, it refines you. Wisdom is not born from comfort. Wisdom is born from the moments when life tests you. The hurt you experienced is not an end, but a beginning. It is an opportunity to grow into a version of yourself who is stronger, clearer, and more aware of what you deserve. The man who disrespected you has unknowingly given you a gift, the gift of clarity. You now see with sharper eyes who should not be allowed close to your heart. You now understand with greater certainty the value of peace over chaos, respect over empty promises, truth over lies. But transformation requires a conscious choice. Pain on its own does not create wisdom. It is what you decide to do with it that matters. If you let bitterness grow, then the pain becomes poison. If you let self-doubt grow, then the pain becomes chains. But if you sit with the pain, if you reflect on it without letting it consume you, then slowly it begins to turn into insight. You realize that you are capable of surviving what you once thought would break you. You realize that your strength is not in avoiding hurt, but in rising after it. And this realization builds a wisdom that no one can take away. Transformation also changes the way you see yourself. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of his actions, you begin to see yourself as the creator of your own healing. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn? How can I grow? And how will this experience make me stronger?" That shift is the true mark of wisdom. It is the understanding that every hurtful experience is temporary, but the lessons it leaves behind can guide you for a lifetime. This wisdom then flows into the choices you make. It helps you recognize red flags earlier, set boundaries more firmly, and walk away more confidently when someone shows you they cannot respect you. The next time you face a similar situation, you will not fall as deeply because you carry the armor of understanding. Pain becomes your teacher, and wisdom becomes your shield. There is also a quiet strength that comes from knowing that even the darkest moments can be transformed. You begin to trust yourself more. You believe in your ability to handle whatever comes. This self-trust is one of the most powerful outcomes of transforming pain into wisdom. It frees you from fear. It reminds you that you are not fragile, you are resilient. What tried to break you has only made you more aware of your own unshakable spirit. So when a man hurts you, do not let the story end with the hurt. Write the next chapter with your response. Let the pain guide you toward wisdom. Let it remind you of what you deserve, of how strong you are, of how valuable your peace is. In the end, the man who hurt you will remain trapped in his own actions. But you will walk away carrying the gift of growth. And that is the greatest transformation of all. When you stand in the middle of hurt, it can feel like the storm will never end. His words echo in your mind, his actions replay in your memory, and for a moment it feels as though you are trapped in his shadow. But here lies the truth: you cannot control what he does. You cannot change his choices, but you can master yourself. Rising above the storm is not about changing him. It is about reclaiming the ground of your own mind and emotions. It is about choosing how you carry yourself in the face of pain. The storm of another person can be loud. It can come in the form of anger, betrayal, disrespect, or neglect. But storms, no matter how fierce, always pass. What matters is not how strong the storm is, but how steady you remain while it rages. If you allow his storm to pull you in, you lose yourself in the chaos. But if you anchor yourself in your own strength, you find calmness even in the middle of the thunder. This is what it means to rise above thee, to stand firm in your spirit while everything around you tries to shake you. Mastering your mind means training yourself not to believe every thought that pain brings. Hurt can whisper lies, telling you that you are not enough, that you are weak, that you are unworthy. But these thoughts are not the truth. They are only the echoes of the wound. Rising above means reminding yourself that your worth has not changed, no matter what has been done to you. Your value is not determined by his behavior. Your value is constant, like the mountain that stands tall, no matter how hard the wind blows. Mastering your emotions means learning to respond instead of react. When pain strikes, the natural reaction is to fight back with anger or collapse with sadness. But reaction keeps you tied to him. Response, on the other hand, frees you. Response is when you choose deliberately how you will carry this experience. It is when you say, I will not let his actions decide my emotions. I will choose peace over chaos. I will choose dignity over despair. I will choose to keep walking forward. This choice is the essence of true power. Rising above the storm also means shifting your focus. Instead of staring at the storm, look toward the horizon. The more you fixate on what he has done, the more you remain tied to it. But when you focus on yourself, on your healing, on your growth, the storm loses its grip. You begin to see that beyond this pain there is still a life waiting for you. There is still love, peace, and joy that belongs to you. You rise above by refusing to let one person's darkness cover your entire sky. It is important to remember that storms test the strength of what is within. Just as trees develop deeper roots in strong winds, you too develop deeper resilience when tested by hurt. Every moment you choose not to let his actions control your spirit, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to let his words define you, you become freer. Rising above is not about pretending the storm is not there. It is about proving that you are greater than the storm. This strength is not loud. It is not about shouting that you are unshaken. It is about the quiet confidence in your heart that knows you will not be broken. It is the calm that comes when you know who you are, when you know your worth, when you know that no one has the power to take your peace unless you hand it to them. This inner strength is the foundation that allows you to walk forward with your head high, even when someone tried to pull you down. So when a man hurts you, remember that rising above does not mean ignoring the pain, nor does it mean denying what happened. It means facing it, learning from it, and still choosing to hold your peace. It means refusing to let the storm control your destiny. It means mastering your mind and emotions so completely that nothing outside of you can shake the ground within you. And when you rise above in this way, you step out of the storm not broken, but renewed, stronger than before, and ready to walk into the light of your own strength. In the end, life will always present you with people who test your strength, who challenge your patience, and sometimes who hurt you deeply. But remember, the way you handle that hurt will shape not only your present, but also your future. Do not let his actions steal your peace. Do not let his words define your worth. Protect your inner world, respond with dignity, choose silence when needed, create distance when necessary. Understand that his behavior reflects him, transform your pain into wisdom, and rise above every storm with mastery over your own mind and emotions. You are far stronger than the moments that tried to break you. You are far more valuable than the treatment you received. And you are far more capable of creating a life of peace, respect, and joy than you sometimes believe. Carry these truths with you. Hold them close to your heart and walk forward with the certainty that no one can take away the light within you. I wish you strength in every challenge, clarity in every decision, and peace in every step of your journey. May you always rise above and never forget the power that lives inside you. Good luck and thank you.